Today, we're diving into one of the most critical laws from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Law number 5. This one is all about reputation. Think of it as your cornerstone, this invisible armor that you wear every single day. It protects you, but it can also be a silent, devastating weapon against your rivals. Let's get into it.
Okay, I want you to put yourself in this situation. It's ancient China, during the chaotic War of the Three Kingdoms. You are the celebrated general Zhuge Liang. Now here's the problem. An enemy army 150,000 strong is literally minutes away from your gates, ready to crush your town. And you've got 100 men. That's it. Surrender looks like your only option, right? So, what's your move?
Well, your first order is bizarre, to say the least. You tell your men to take down all the city's flags. Just remove any sign that you're even planning to put up a fight. Your soldiers are completely baffled, but hey, you're the boss, so they do it. And if you thought that was weird, your next command sounds like absolute madness. You order the main city gates to be thrown wide open. It's like you're rolling out the welcome mat for the entire enemy army. And for the final piece of this insane puzzle, you tell your soldiers to go hide, leaving the entire city looking deserted. Then you change into a simple Taoist robe, climb to the top of the city wall, light some incense, and just calmly start playing your lute as this massive army appears on the horizon. And then the impossible happens. The enemy commander, this guy Sima Yi, he rolls up. He sees you, this lone figure, just chilling, playing a lute above these wide-open gates. His 150,000 soldiers are ready to pour in, but he stops. He just stares. And after a long, tense moment, he gives a shocking command. Full retreat immediately.
So how on earth did that work? It wasn't magic, not at all. It was Zhuge Liang's reputation. See, he was known as the Sleeping Dragon, an absolute master of deception and trickery. This bizarre, ridiculously confident display made Sima Yi terrified of a massive ambush. In that moment, Liang's reputation was more powerful than an army of 150,000 men.
And that right there is the absolute core of Law 5. Your reputation is everything. It walks into the room before you do. It can win battles for you without you ever lifting a finger, just like it did for Zhuge Liang. But, and this is a huge but, the second it gets damaged, you are wide open to attack. It's your greatest shield and your sharpest sword, all at the same time.
Okay, so that's a great story, but how do you actually build a reputation like that from scratch? Well, Law 5 gives us a pretty clear roadmap.
So here's the game plan. First, you have to pick one single, outstanding quality. Just one. Maybe it's unwavering honesty, or maybe incredible efficiency, or maybe it's cunning, like General Rommel, whose reputation for clever tricks literally terrified the Allies. Or maybe it's seductiveness, like Casanova, whose name did half the work for him. Once you've picked it, you subtly show it off, and then you just let other people do the talking. Let it spread on its own. But what if your reputation is already damaged? What do you do then? You borrow someone else's. You find someone whose image is the total opposite of yours and you attach yourself to them. P.T. Barnum is a perfect example. He was known for kind of vulgar, lowbrow entertainment. So what did he do? He sponsored a tour for a super refined, high-class singer named Jenny Lind and let her good name basically wash over his. Same thing with America's ruthless robber barons. They started collecting priceless art to make people think culture and sophistication, not greed and cruelty.
And here's where things get really wild. Your reputation acts like a lens. It doesn't change what you do, it changes how people see what you do. There's this story about a courtier named Mi Tzu-xia that illustrates this perfectly.
So check this out. When Mi Tzu-xia was the ruler's absolute favorite, he broke the law and used the royal coach to visit his sick mom. The ruler said, "How dutiful! What a good son!" Later, he gave the ruler a half-eaten peach, and the ruler said, "You love me so much, you share your food with me." But once he fell out of favor, his reputation was ruined. The ruler looked back at those exact same events and said using the coach was arrogant, and the half-eaten peach was a disgusting insult. Same actions, totally different outcomes, all because his reputation had changed.
So we've covered defense. But Law 5 isn't just about protecting yourself. It's also a seriously powerful offensive weapon. If you want to destroy an opponent, you don't attack them, you attack their reputation. And the undisputed master of this was P.T. Barnum.
Early in his career, Barnum tried to buy a museum. The owner turned him down flat. He basically told him, look, your rival has a great reputation, and you, well, you have no reputation. Barnum was furious. So he decided if he couldn't build his own reputation fast enough, he'd just destroy his enemies.
And Barnum's strategy was brilliant because it adapted to his own level of power. When he had no reputation, his weapon was doubt. He'd write anonymous letters to newspapers, just asking questions about his rival's finances. This puts the rival in an impossible spot. If you deny it, you look defensive and guilty. If you ignore it, you let the rumor grow. Then later, when Barnum was famous, he switched to ridicule. He just staged a parody of his rival's show, made him look like a joke, and completely killed his ticket sales.
And that's the key takeaway here. Doubt is the perfect weapon when you're the underdog. You don't need any proof, just a well-placed rumor. Once you plant that seed of doubt, it's almost impossible for your opponent to get rid of it, and it forces them to react, which usually means they make mistakes. But, and this is a huge but, going on the attack is super risky. A clumsy attack can totally backfire. Which brings us to the most important part of this law. You have to guard your own reputation as if your life depends on it, because in the game of power, it actually does.
The war between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla over the future of electricity is the ultimate cautionary tale. Edison was the giant, the established genius. His reputation was rock solid. Tesla was the brilliant newcomer with a radical new idea, alternating current or AC. Edison felt threatened, so he tried to destroy Tesla's reputation by painting his AC technology as deadly. He launched this horrifying smear campaign where he publicly electrocuted dogs and even a circus elephant with AC. He even arranged for the very first electric chair to use AC power. But the execution was a gruesome, botched mess. The whole thing backfired spectacularly. It ended up damaging Edison's reputation way more than Tesla's. He didn't look like a concerned scientist. He looked like a vengeful, cruel monster.
The lesson here is crystal clear. When you attack someone's reputation, especially if you're the one in power, you have to be subtle. Going too far, being too aggressive, it just reveals your own insecurity and it can do way more damage to you than to your target.
The book uses this really powerful metaphor. It says your reputation is like a treasure you've worked incredibly hard to create. You dug for it, you found it. But you have to remember, rivals and enemies will always be trying to steal it. You can never ever take it for granted. You have to guard it relentlessly.
Which brings us to a final, absolutely critical point about this law. You might be wondering, are there exceptions? Is there ever a time when it's okay to just ignore your reputation? The answer is simple: zero. There is no reversal to this law. There's no getting around it. Neglecting your reputation isn't really an option. It just means you're letting other people define it for you. And trust me, they will rarely write a story that makes you look good. You have to be the master of your own reputation. Period.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. In your career, in your social life, in every single interaction you have, your reputation is speaking for you. It's either opening doors or it's slamming them shut. So the only real question is, what story is it telling? And more importantly, are you the one holding the pen?